Alrighty, how's it going, ladies and gents? After a few days, I'm finally back with another video, and yeah, today, from the thumbnail and from the actual title, you'll see we're going to be talking about some bikes. You know, we're going to be talking about a few bikes that you really should buy in this day and age, after they pretty much finish with all the remodeling, the redoing of everything and whatnot. And check it out, I just got paid 71 million, so yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna quickly just jump into the action, but quick announcements first, like usual. So check the timestamps below. If I forget to do them, I'm sorry, I will get to it. But let's just first get to a little announcement section, and yeah, just skip forward if you know, you're looking for what bikes to buy. So I do have 2 videos planned, and they're gonna come out probably next week. One video is going to come out next week. And yeah, you've probably seen I got some IRL content planned out. I do have a GoPro now. So with all that in mind, be ready for a first IRL video. It's going to be pretty interesting. And yeah, I hope to see you guys, you know, give me a little support and whatnot, hopefully. I can't really mount my GoPro on my face like this. I wish I could. But yeah, it's funny. I do have the Hero 11, the GoPro Hero 11, which is kind of sick. Now, without further ado, yeah, let's get started. So if you're looking for the quick answer on what bikes to buy, you know, if you like stiffer steering, go for the Hayabusa. If you like softer steering, but it's also faster, go for the H2R. That's your simple answer. So those of you who want the simple answer, you're free to go now. If you want the longer answer, then let's get started. So we are rating all of these bikes based on a few factors. So number 1, we're going to be rating them on the sound. We're going to be rating them on acceleration, and we're going to be rating them on design/details. And obviously, I'm going to include the basics like the price, top speed, and 0 to 60, which is shown in the dealership. And obviously, their IRL counterparts, aka their real names, what they actually are. Now, without further ado, first bike off our list. The first ever bike you should probably look into buying is the Kawasaki Ninja Z1000, which is this one right here. The Z1000, it is a reworked bike, and I will get to this one. This one is not reworked, and it will get reworked, aka nerfed the living crap out of. So, anyways, now the Z1000 is not going to get nerfed, so those of you who want to play it safe, you can get this bike. And this will stay the same. There won't be any changes to price, speed, and horsepower, nothing. There will be 0 changes. As you see on the top right there is a actual racing footage while I'm also talking and driving. And yeah, now this bike tops out at 174 rather than to contrary said in the dealership. It does 175 on downhills, and its acceleration is actually quite good, 2.7 seconds. And well, I would personally, if I turn the sound up, I'd give the sound a solid 6 out of 10, give the acceleration a solid 8 out of 10, given it is pretty fast on acceleration. And if we actually look at the details / the design, they did a pretty good job when it comes to designing and the details of this bike, I would say. The smaller details are all there. And obviously when you drive, all the actual core components is all there. So I would say I give the design a 6.5 out of 10. It's pretty solid, but at the end of the day, it's a naked bike, and it's one of the first starter bikes. Also, this is a 2-seater. Second bike on our list, this is the Aprilia RSV4. The RSV4, I've actually, my buddy owns one of these in real life. Here's some pictures of his bike. But yeah, he's pretty cool. This thing has a top speed of 215, which will most definitely get nerfed. And the 0 to 60 is 3 seconds, which is pretty slow. And it is priced at $559,000. And when it comes to, well, the steering, on the scale of how from stiff to soft, I would give this one a solid 3, or towards the stiffer side, well, 0 is really stiff, 10 is really soft. I would give this a 3. It is a very stiff bike to ride. And yeah, the sound, I give it a 4 out of 10. Acceleration, obviously it is quite slow, so I'll give it a 3 out of 10. And in general, because of the older model, you can see that the details are actually a bit less than, well, the other bikes of then. But this is a older model, obviously. So I would in general give this a solid 5 out of 10. And yeah, I think this is pretty solid. But do remember, this bike will be remodeled. So there's that too. Now, following that, this one right here we have, this is the CBR 1000RR, a 2005 CBR 1000RR. And this is obviously a 2-seater. And this thing has a top speed of 196 is this thing's top speed, which is contrary to, well, what we see in the dealership, which is 192. But, you know, hey, that's a good thing. Now, 0 to 60, this thing gets there in 2.3 seconds. And when it comes to stiff or soft turning and, you know, steering, it is, I would give it a 6. It's towards the softer side, obviously, because it's, you know, very cross-rocky-like and it's not so heavy. And, yeah. Sounds-wise, I give this thing a solid 8 because I like the way it sounds. And the acceleration, I give it a 7 out of 10 because it is pretty damn quick on acceleration. Now, when it comes to design, this is one of the more customizable variants with, well, not so many paints to customize, but liveries on the other hand, there's multiple different variants of liveries you can play with. But that's all up to you, what you want to do. And obviously there's also window decals with the Tarvo or the Petro, different racing decals. What I have is obviously the Tarvo. I have the Tarvo, which, you know, in correlation is Honda. Now, skipping through all of these here, next bike I'm going to talk about is the Yamaha R1M. The reason, well, this bike is not all that fast. It tops out at 187. But the reason why I'm talking about this is very simple. This thing sounds absolutely insane. And yeah, and it also wheelies super well. Like, really, really well. It wheelies super fast. And yeah, you can usually spin out, but yeah, you can tell how this could be a good wheelie bike for all of you on console. And but for us, you know, on PC, it's not so much. But I do have to mention though, the CBR 1000R does have a mileage counter. Forgot to mention that. This thing, 0 to 60, is 2.6 seconds, and it cost 878,000. We are on the mid level, which is 800k to 1.5 million. This is, I would say, the mid-level for bikes. Yeah, from stiff to soft, I would give this thing a 5. It's just about the perfect, you know, stiffness, or if anything, a 4.5 towards the stiffer side. It is a little bit on the stiffer end once it reaches top speed. But on the other hand, the acceleration is pretty fast, so I would give it a 7 out of 10. Now, the design-wise, well, if we take a look here, you know, all the little details are there. It is missing the good old mileage counter, which I would like. You know, it's pretty nice if we do have the mileage counters. But yeah, design-wise, I give it a 6 out of 10. It's not a bad design, nor is it a super, super ultra detailed design, so yeah, give it a 6, give it a 6.5, I would say. Well, not bad. Now, still being on the medium level, we have the Ultra Ball spec, my Hayabusa. This is the stock Busa or street Busa, and obviously, you know, from what I said, the Ultra Ball spec, I did a little bit of a sum with this. Top speed, this thing tops out at 189, and 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Definitely has the acceleration, has a lot of horsepower in this thing, but obviously, you know, yeah, it's not the fastest bike because they're chasing realism here. So it tops out at 189. Now, on the stiff to soft spectrum, I would give this a 2.5. look at how heavy this thing is. It is a heavy boy. It is not going to go anywhere. So it is a very stiff bike. Personally, very easy to control. I can handle this thing quite well. And yeah, I give this thing a 8.5 on sound because this thing sounds absolutely crazy. Now, acceleration-wise, this thing is a 7 out of 10. And forgot to mention, this thing is almost $1 million at $932,000. Yeah, a lot, I know. Just so you know, I would be an absolute piece of garbage and insert an ad here, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to interrupt your viewing experience. So instead, how about you just give me a subscription if you enjoy me, enjoy the content I'm putting out. Thank you. Now, right back to the content. Now, moving on to our last one in the medium section, just under our budget of 1.5 million here, we have our Ducati V4, which is currently my favorite spec. I did a Pokeball spec. You know, look at that. It's pretty cool. It's also on the thumbnail, if you actually noticed it. But, yeah. Little Pokeball spec. You can also call this Marble spec, whatever you want to think. But yeah, this Ducati V4, I really like how it looks. And the top speed is also there to keep you company. Well, I'm not really mentioning all that much about the track bikes because you do need a track pass for it. So eventually I will touch up on these, given the top two fastest bikes are both track. Now, the Ducati V4. This thing has a top speed of 207 occasionally and even 208, but typically it sits around 206, which is the same as dealership status. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, it is a little slower, but it's okay because if you wheelie, it's still pretty fast. Now, sound-wise, I will give this a 7 out of 10. It does sound nice, but it is reused audio, which is unfortunate. On the other hand, design-wise, I really like the design. So, well, especially after, being able to play with the specs and everything, figured out it is actually pretty cool when it comes to specking. There's a lot of options you can play with. So, specking wise, I will give this a 8.5 out of 10. And acceleration wise, I would give this like a 7 out of 10. So, yeah. But again, one more thing though, this thing does have pretty good handling. I would say it is a dead on 5 on handling. It is not so stiff and not so soft. So, I can do whatever I want on this bike and I like it a lot. Now, touching up on the other attempt for the Pokeball spec. This is the Honda CBR 1000 RR-R, aka Fireblade. I'm pretty sure I have that right. Now, the top speed on this is the current fastest bike in our game here. And this is the 2-seater. Fastest bike in our game without track pass, obviously. Yeah, top speed, this thing is sitting at a happy 214, 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. And yeah, I would say design-wise, this thing is super detailed. It's an 8 out of 10 when it comes to design. If you can look at the dash and see all these lights indicating you when to shift if you are on manual mode. It does have instructions like that. Now, the acceleration, I will give this a 8 out of 10. And let's listen to the sound. Personally, given it does have a unique sound to its own, and the it does sound pretty nice, I would say, I would give this sound a proper 8 out of 10, 8.5 even. And yeah, let's move on to the last two bikes of our list here. Now, the last two bikes we're covering are obviously both track bikes, so if you're looking for the current fastest bike, that won't be changing in the future without track pass, look at this bike here. So, rewatch the last part. But if you're looking for, and you do have the track pass, and you're looking for the fastest bike, to maybe break some records on the highway list, something, you can obviously get yourself the Hayabusa Race Edition. Hayabusa Race Edition, again, stiffness level, solid 2.5 on the stiffness chart. And yeah, top speed, it is sitting at 224. if I can speed up. There we go, 223, 224, there you go. 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, pretty fast on acceleration. And the sounds, not so good. It is a reused sound. It sounds like an H2R, honestly, so I don't really like it that much. 4 out of 10. Design-wise, yeah, don't get me started on the boost. I fucking love this thing. It is a 9.7 out of 10. It's pretty much my, you know, the bike that I want in real life. If I have infinite money, which I don't, but if I do have infinite money, oh brother. Now, the acceleration on this thing is a 8 out of 10. You know, it is pretty nice. And I would say when it comes to high speed, this thing has the best handling because it is not too quick and you won't suffer. Yeah. And yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm a big fan. Now, it is priced at 4,125,000. So yeah, it is pretty expensive. And yeah, but it is not as expensive as our final contender, the 2018 H2R with the Master Ball spec. Check it out. It is pretty cool. It tops out at 249 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, obviously a little slower, but if you do know how to wheelie, I'm sure you can handle yourself just fine. And there you go, you're up to speed, just like that. Now, the sound of the H2R, I would say it is one of the best. I personally am a big fan of the H2R sounds. And when it comes to steering, I would say it is more on the softer side. I give it a 6.8. It's pretty soft. It does turn like pretty crazily. And yeah, design-wise, I give it a 9 out of 10. Or no, sound-wise, I give it a 8 out of 10. Acceleration, I will give this thing a 7 out of 10. And the design-wise, I'm giving this thing an 8.7 out of 10. This is obviously the fastest bike in-game currently, sitting at 6,237,000. And you can buy yourself this bike right here. So yeah, it is not a cheap bike by any means, but you can obviously achieve all that with one of our medium options. You can beat most of the cars actually if you get good enough with the cheaper option bikes. So yeah, good luck guys with your driving experiences. Now, if you have seen on the top right there, there are all the racing footage of how fast times I was able to get. The H2R actually took me quite a while, but yeah, eventually I got there. And yeah, that's it for our video today. You know, if I am planning on doing a video on how to spec your cars or bikes to, you know, fit a specific theme and idea and whatnot, but yeah, I'm just trying to see what kind of structure I can get it and whatnot, you know. But if you have ideas with what you want to see and whatnot, please leave a comment. I do read every single one of those, trust me, I do. If you checked any of my older videos, I rarely have comments that I don't see, and I try my best to keep up with it, but life's been busy. I have a job, I have school, and I have other things I have to do, so life's been busy. I will get to you if I can get to you. If not, my community will. Now, thank you guys for watching, and if you appreciate, you know, me giving you these content, do the good old YouTuber fashion stuff. Subscribe, leave a like, the 9 yards, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in our next video. Goodbye.